big day is here. I'm launching life. I have a life, you have a life, and it's interesting how the growth CFO business building journey has brought me to how do we have a better life, adjacent to building a business. It's really interesting how the journey works out. This is the backstory that led to life. Is I'm a business owner, I have rental property, I'm married, I have children, and the challenge has been active hours, right? Where if I want more, I got to work more. And that, when does that stop? And how many hours is it before it becomes unhealthy? And then what about with the rental property? If somebody does a slip and fall with my rental property, they can reach all the way into my personal world and wreak havoc for me, where, my hard work is going to somebody else versus my family, my legacy. And, my personal financial flight plan, it's not all the way worked out, right? Despite this, that's my expertise, right? And then somewhere, I'm 54 years old. I'm thinking about, what about that multi-generational legacy development? What can I do, right? Where everything that I learn and what I learned from my family before that actually gets translated to something that's useful for them. How do I do that? So for years, I've been trying to figure this out on spreadsheets, right? That's how I saw things. And let's just say I didn't get all the way, I didn't get things all the way figured out, nor the implementation and the follow through on spreadsheets is really tough, right? It takes a lot more rigor than I could put into it so far. So meanwhile, while I'm experiencing these life topics, they keep coming up with my business owner peer masterminds, right? Where, they have questions, and most of us, we know pieces of the puzzle, parts of the flight, but we don't know all of it. And then there may not be trusted crew members, right? Who does this? Who can I trust? Because a lot of this is it's our first time through. We're not going to have multiple events to set up, what we do with our family legacy kind of stuff. So, and then there's business owners that are in a different stage, right? They did pass the torch on their business, and they did get the big check. They had freedom of time or freedom of money. They might still be healthy and have passions, but I've seen it multiple times where if the business owner doesn't have some clarity around that second mountain that they're passionate about, where relationships and purpose, some kind of guiding light, man, they get stuck. It's like literally one guy described it as despair, right? You got a big check and it's just lost. He described it as being more painful than his divorce. So, let that sink in. So if we continue like this, where because of our day-to-day requirements, it's active hours, right? And those active hours could be taking you away from your loved ones, just as well as it could be taking you away from activities that you love. So probably if things aren't worked out and protected, where it's safe and it's risk are mitigated, you're probably leaving something on the table financially. There's a lot of unique financial approaches on the personal side that, man, it's just a game changer for both you now and you in the future, and your legacy, multi-generational, your family. Quite fascinating, but it's hard to get a full view of what's there. So just like I did with the growth CFO business building approach, I created something similar for life. And it's a proven approach that incorporates 52 laws that are profound when they're applied. You create a destination. What does that look like? What's that vivid vision of your future self? And what's the flight plan to get there? And it's all worked out. You have the option to use the Freedom platform, where you can see the full flight. Freedom, right? You customize it based on, there's some things that might be unique to you. We customize it with a click. And then you build your success team of experts. It could be your tax strategy person, your legal person. It could be your growth CFO on your business, your accountant that's making sure you get clarity about what's going in and out of your structure. So you get the option to use the Freedom platform, right? And it's been optimized around growth CFO business building. And now there's a life module, right? Upper left, and you get into this. You can see it. You can see your life on that first visual there. So outcomes from life. What kind of outcomes should we expect? We should expect to at least create an option even if it's not obvious at first, how do I reduce my active hours in the business to 10 or 15 hours per week? I promise you, millionaires are not using their time the way I use my time. And there's something to be learned there. And how do we go? What's the flight plan from here to there? Because it's doable. May not be obvious at first, but it's doable. I would say healthier, mentally and physically. You definitely have more time for the things you care about, including I like to get to the gym more, right? I like to get out and bike ride and hike and be in nature. And then what about a clear path on having the passive income you need, where it covers your essentials, plus it covers financial freedom, and really define financial freedom on what would give you prosperity, life that, wow, this really was worth it, right? Getting into this life thing and staying through the tough times and everything else. And that second mountain where relationships and purpose and a sense of joy become your guiding light, versus initially, at least for me, early in life when I got married and had kids, it was providing, right? We got married, had $200, right? Coming back from Venezuela, out of the army, out of grad school, and we got started. So I was head down grinding, right, until I got to this point. But what's the next leg of that journey? So here's my invitation. If this intrigues you at all, I invite you to come to the first session of Life, and we're going to talk through the approach and what your desired outcomes are. And if it's a fit for you, I'm going to look forward to working with you at whatever cadence makes sense to get the life that you want, right? And we'll help each other, right? Peer to peer, and make it happen. More clarity, more confidence, better life. So I look forward to seeing you. I really, really do. And it's going to be good. So bye for now.